Most B2B agencies get 2 replies in 30 days, they panic, rewrite their whole copy. But I want to tell you, copy isn't the problem, you're just building disconnected pieces of your system. This video will walk through the full machine, all the way from infrastructure setup to booked calls, and usually the steps in between is what most people get wrong. First things first would be your infrastructure setup. I would suggest once you've decided you're going to go with outbound, purchase at least minimum 5 to 10 secondary domains. This is just to make sure that your volume could actually get the calls you want. From there, attach 2 to 3 inboxes per domain and configure your DNS, SPF, and DMARC settings. Essentially what each of them are, SPF tells your inbox providers which servers are allowed to send from your domain. DKIM is a cryptographic signature, which essentially shows that the email hasn't been altered. And then we got DKIM. It's the enforcement there, so think of it, it tells the providers what to do when an email fails SPF or DKIM checks. Now once you've gotten your domains, your inboxes, and your DNS all set up, you would direct and plug in all your inboxes to your email sending platform. It could be Instantly, SmartLead, or EmailBuys, it does not matter. You want to make sure that your inboxes are being warmed up for a period of 14 to 21 days. This is the biggest mistake many people do, and especially with new inboxes, I would heavily just suggest 21 days of warming up. And with that 21 days, you could spend your whole time researching, building your list, copywriting, and etc. Lastly, you want to make sure that you set up Slack reply routing instantaneously whenever a lead replies. Interested, not interested, out of office, these are all routed to Slack. And a decision to know if you succeeded in this setup would be after 14 to 21 days, you do your inbox basement checks, you do your warm-up checks, and at least you want to target for above 95% in your warm-up. I would say 98 as well. And yeah, here is a visual of showing the infrastructure setup. So imagine I would always suggest using .com and .co domains. With that, let's just say you have one domain. Under each domain, you'll have either 2 to 3 inboxes, and then you got DKIM, SPF, and DMARC set up. And whenever you want to scale your efforts, you would just copy this, domain 7, and you scale your efforts from there, right? The only way we scale volume is by adding more inboxes. Now we've gotten go-to-market research. I would say this is the fundamentally most important thing you can do, so heavily spend a lot of time on this. Start off with TAM mapping. What I mean by that is essentially you want to find out if your market is big enough that you could send cold emails to, and you could rotate the list every 3, 4, 5, 6 months and continue to do so, right? If your market, I'd say it has less than 3,000 companies or 2,000, this system is just not viable for you, all right? So by doing this, you'll see the whole addressable market that you can target and then map that out. So in this case, let's just say it's 20,000, right? From there, you then see, okay, out of this whole addressable market, which ones are my ideal client profile, right? So with that, you'll do a whole research on your ideal client profiles in that addressable market, and you could set up qualifiers. So over here, as you can see, there's industry, headcount, revenue, geography, business stage, tech stack, decision maker, title as your qualifiers. Once you've mapped out your TAM, you've gotten your qualifiers all in order. This is where you look into your ICP and you identify all their pain points. This will be heavily used in the copy, so do not miss this out. And then along with that, you want to also segment the kind of pocket audiences there are in the market. From there, you'd pull the directories for where these companies lie in. All you need is a domain name and their company name. With that, you could use their company information and discover more angles that can benefit them. So list building and go-to-market research play hand in hand. So once you pulled your whole directory of company domains and names, this is where you do a contact pull from those. From there, you do a enrichment to find their contact information along with any other signals. And then lastly, you'd go and bump into email verification. And to know if you have succeeded in this stage, you want to make sure that your lists are cleaned, verified, and segmented. To put it visually, this is how it would look. You start off with mapping out your total addressable market. Let's say you have 20,000 companies in there. Great. From there, obviously, the whole market is in your ICP, right? You want to do research into the market and find out your ICP. Let's say from those 20,000 companies, you've matched 12,800 to being your ideal client profiles. From there, you'd take the research of your ideal companies and you'd go pull them from public directories, right? Once you pull them from public directories, let's just say you end up with 10,200. From there, easily you follow contact pull. You pull contacts from the companies, and then you'd enrich those contacts with any signals, pain points, information that you would use in your copy. And then lastly, you'd verify all these contacts. So generally, this would be the flow of how it works. So whenever you're set out to source 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 leads, I'll always start with a big number. You can see over here, we sourced 10,200 companies, but we only ended up with 5,300 contacts. Now moving on to copywriting, we follow a very strict approach of you should have one brief that contains your ICP, your offers, the results you've gotten, the case studies, proof points, promises, risk reversal, all in one brief. This is what it will be used to basically draft out your angles. I would say if you're sending to a list of 5,000 to 10,000 contacts for the first time, just write A to Z scripts, and then you could send it out to the whole list and see which script works the best and then scale from there. Very easily, I would always suggest don't go 5, 6, 7 emails unless you have a small list and you have a very limited contact pool to work with. I would say just stick to 3 to 4 emails so you could hit these contacts up in 4 to 5 months to come again. And the email sequence you follow is problem, proof, or close. There's so many you could follow as well. If you have problem and proof in the first email, the second email can just be value driven, and then the third email can be closed. Now, once you've set up your brief, your angles, your email sequences, along with your follow-ups, you are about 80% there. The rest would be Spintaxing those variants. Okay, what I mean by Spintax is basically different words saying the same meaning. And this is what we use to essentially bypass Google Outlook's filters of when we are sending out, let's say, the same copy from 20 different inboxes, they will catch on to that. So the goal with Spintax is sending different words with the same meaning so they don't catch on. And along with that, you got your mail checker, doing spam checks on your copy so Google and Outlook don't flag your emails as they're being sent through. And to put it visually, as you can see, email 1, email 2, and email 3. Email 2 can be, again, proof, or it could be value. You're giving them an asset whatsoever. And I want to make it clear and simple that copy determines 20% of your whole system. I'd say infrastructure and targeting determine 80%. You'll heavily hear like offer, copy matters the most, and 100% it does. But if you're sending that same offer and copy to the wrong market and wrong list, you never know if it's good enough. And here's a visual of how the brief is fed into the scripts and fed into the follow-ups and what we do on an ongoing basis to keep that easier for you to remember. Once you've gotten your list, your copy, your contacts, this is where you go ahead and deploy your campaigns, right? Go load your sequences into your email sending platform, SmartLead, Instantly Email Bison. Go ahead and set your inbox rotation. What I mean by that, let's say this. If you have around 30 inboxes, you could put 15 inboxes on the side warming up, and you could start up with 15 inboxes, send out emails for 1-2 weeks, and then rotate your inboxes as you set up new campaigns for the third and fourth week. Along with that, you want to make sure that for your campaign sending limit, you start off with 5 emails a day for the first 1-2 days, and then you could gradually scale by week 1 end or week 2 end, 20 emails a day. This is especially better for fresh new inboxes, and it'll definitely help out a bunch. Now, the next step would be actually your A/B testing angles. So before I said if you have 5,000 to 10,000 contacts, go ahead and write A to Z scripts. Now, from there, how do you know which one is the winner? In this case, we have a number. It's very bare. That's 250 to 300 cents each. So for example, if you do send out 300 emails for variant A, 300 emails for variant B, and you see variant A got like 3 responses, 2 of them were positive, variant B got nothing. From there, we know variant B is a loser, we turn that off, and then we create more variants such as variant A. Then lastly, you got deliverability checks weekly. We want to make sure that these emails are landing in the inboxes that they're supposed to, and we're not missing out on any of those contacts. And then simply the decisions that you're making is basically, am I killing or am I scaling an angle? Now, to put it visually, this is how it would look as you go off and launch your campaigns. You'd start off with day 1, let's just say you got 10 inboxes, 20 cents a day. That would realize to 200 total cents a day from all your inboxes. From there, you'd see your first data. Is your list good? So especially in the first 2 days, you'd see if your list quality is good. If you're getting bounce rates over 5-6%, just pause campaigns, refresh your list, and upload them again. After that, you got your first read. At the end of week 1, with the volume you're sending out, you should get an idea of your market, at least a halfway through of, because it's email, you could test very quickly. Each test lasts 1 to 2 weeks. So with that, you can get a lot of data and just keep on improving. Then from there, you got your A/B testing read. You're going to make decisions on what's winning, scaling. Then you go and do a full ramp of all your inboxes. So over here, we got 10. Let's just say you had 10 more inboxes. Because over here, after A/B testing, you're more confident on what copy works. So you could scale with the right amount of inboxes. Then lastly, you do a ongoing optimized cycle. Weekly angle reset all the time. Make sure that your bounce rates are less than 3%, that you get as close as 0 spam complaints. It is hard, but try your best. And then you got blacklist scan weekly and inbox placement weekly as well. Lastly, we're down to the most 2 crucial things I'd say in the system to get you the book calls. It would be inbox management and appointment setting. They do play hand in hand, so I'm going to be referencing it back and forth like this. So off the bat, we have replies being sent, notified on Slack all the time. The pure objective of this is instantaneously you want your team to know when the lead comes in so you could go ahead and contact the lead. And the most important thing is speed to lead, right? Over here, as you can see, you want to make sure that your team replies in less than 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes to that lead to move them forward. All right, so let's just say you got your replies coming in a Slack notification. This is where your agent does and classifies the reply. Either it's positive, either it's neutral, it's out of offices, whatsoever. Okay, and then from there, classifying the reply, either you have this agent set up for yourself or your team is doing manually. You could go ahead and go to your reply templates, see if we're non-interested, interested. Specifically for your copy, it might vary, right, on what reply to send back to. And the goal is send in less than 5 minutes, reply back in less than 5 minutes. So over here you see 60 minutes, but honestly, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, from there, you got your appointment settings. So let's just say you have a positive reply come in. How do you convert that into a book call? There's so many workflows to this, but for us, the most efficient one is once a reply comes in, we have an enrichment on our Slack that sends it to Prosper ICP to find out their phone number. Once it does, we get a notification on Slack, here's their phone number, call them up to book. So we basically call up the lead, be like, hey, saw you replied back to the email. Is there anything specific that you want me to include? Then you walk through a full discovery through there, right? After that, your goal is on that call, you're booking them to a discovery or a sales. So you could actually sit down for 30, 40 minutes to walk through a problem and a solution for their business. And laying it out visually, as you can see, here's a decision tree. You could easily, for your own business, map out a process map for your sales guys and get them easily to know how to classify each response, what is what, and how to handle each type as well. So as you can see, a reply comes in Slack, then the agent goes ahead and classifies the reply type. Either it's positive. If it's positive, get them on a book call. Then we have neutral. If it's neutral, soft follow-up, and keep following up each week with just value. If it's objection, really go ahead and handle it. If it's opt out, just remove them from the list. And then in layer 7, this is basically the flow I just talked about. Positive reply, Slack alert, get your phone number, call them up, confirm a calendar hold, and you could send a pre-call brief to the client to make sure there's no no-shows. And then this is how, in less than 5 minutes, you appointment set. And to end it off, earlier I told you that I would help out in basically diagnosing your system, seeing where in each layer something can be fixed, right? So this is where feedback loops come in most important. Off the bat, weekly, you want to make sure that your angles are being reset. This is based off reply data and angle performance. And then from there, you can make a decision on what would be the next batches. Along with that, monthly, you want to make sure that your ICP is actually being updated with the results, the ones that you're actively targeting. And then from there, you either expand, rotate, and kill. And then you've got bi-weekly, your infrastructure audit and rotation. Always make sure that your inboxes are landing, that deliverability is up to par, and that reputation is also up to par. And then specifically diagnosing the problem in your system, I would say if you have less than 2% reply rates, it is either a ICP or offer problem. Don't scale until you crack a range above it. Okay, if you got 2 to 5% reply rates, but a lot of negative replies, you do have a copy problem. Go ahead and rewrite your angles. If you are averaging above 4 to 5% plus reply rates from them, it's like 45 to 50% positive, but you're just getting 1 or 2 called, it is definitely just a speed to lead problem. Go ahead and respond faster. Then lastly, if you got high calls, low close, this has nothing to do with cold email, but it's more likely a sales problem. Do not go ahead and blame your system that has gotten you all the leads to now and say, oh, I'm getting 20 calls, but I can't close any of them. It's definitely your sales problem, so it's outside your system. Now there you have it. I've walked through the complete cold email system that you could use to book 5 to 10 calls consistently on a month-to-month basis. I would highly recommend to diligently focus on each layer of the process, and then success will come your way. We are booking calls for April this upcoming month. So if you want our team to set up the system for you, just head to the first or second link in the description and we should sort you out. Hope this helped. Peace.